Good evening. A Country Women's Association morning tea with the Prime Minister has descended into chaos. A young woman slapped with an assault charge for throwing an egg at Scott Morrison's head. Many are now asking how the protester, allegedly armed with a carton of eggs and cannabis in her pocket, was able to be within striking distance of the nation's leader.
It's the stuff of police protection detail nightmares. From a crowded room, a woman lunges at the Prime Minister. This time her weapon is just an egg that scrapes Scott Morrison's scalp. As police wrestle the assailant to the ground, an elderly woman is knocked off her feet and the Prime Minister goes to her aid. Amber Holt was led off by the Australian Federal Police through a crowd unamused by her brand of political activism.
Silly girl, you're appalling. Absolutely appalling. As is everyone that votes for this piece of
The 24-year-old retail worker was still wearing her work lanyard when taken to Albury Police Station.
We have a female in custody in relation to an incident involving the Prime Minister this morning.
Cannabis was found on Amber Holt, who was charged with common assault and possessing a prohibited drug. She will appear in court on May 27.
Why did you hit the Prime Minister?
I didn't hit the Prime Minister, I
You
missed.
almost did.
Some of her Facebook posts have included attacks on Scott Morrison. And this physical attack was condemned across the political divide.
This is appalling and disgraceful behaviour.
At a later gathering with the Prime Minister, Liberal Senator Jane Hume made light of the affair.
Supporting regional and rural families, and particularly the poultry industry, I think was well supported this morning, Prime Minister.
And Scott Morrison also tried to laugh it off.
Well, pardon the pun, but I don't want to over-egg this thing.
But on a day when there was yet another ugly incident, with faeces put in a book and dumped on Tony Abbott's doorstep, the Prime Minister warned of a loss of civility in politics.
We've just got to disagree better about these things. Just because you have a difference of view to someone doesn't mean that you have to engage in these sort of ugly types of protests.
Australian Prime Ministers have been egged before, but there is growing concern that politics here is taking on a harder edge.
People are allowed to protest peacefully, but anything approaching violence is completely unacceptable.
There has been, I think, an ugly side to some of these protests.
And happily so far, no one has been injured. But police will be pressing to beef up the Prime Minister's security. Chris Ullman, 9 News.